Page 2, The Diary of Mama G. I began to reminisce this morning. I thought about my life so long ago. I remember being taught that Landmore didn't make any promises bigger than your dreams. That was the sweet saying every native could mock with familiarity. I was raised with three brothers, Bambi, Math, and Crow, three sisters as well, Penny, Ephra, and Kuda Lee. My mama was a waitress, and my daddy worked two jobs. He worked the factory by day and bartended some nights and on the weekends. It still wasn't enough. There was always a setback of some kind. At least that's what he used to express. He said every time he moved 3 feet ahead, he fell another 9 behind. I never really thought we were poor. Well, until Christmas and other holidays came around. That shit was downright depressing. I remember he had just paid all of the bills. My birthday is on the 3rd of May. He might have forgot. I still think Mama reminded him. Anyway, it was my birthday, and he had just come through the door after making ends meet. I noticed him look at Mama and the cake that she had baked. He walked over to the number candle and picked it up. He saw the number 9 and must have caught a hint. He then walked behind Mama and gave her a squeeze around the waist and kissed her on the neck and then on the lips. I think he felt bothered about forgetting. He hurried and made some excuse about how he needed to make a run. I remember he put on the same jacket he had just taken off. He then opened the door to leave. Crow, my oldest brother, followed him out of the door. Papa never minded Crow tagging along. I guess he was used to it. Him being the oldest and all, I sat in the kitchen as my mom hummed beautiful melodies to me while she cooked. I'll never forget she made biscuits from scratch, sweet potatoes, baked macaroni and cheese, and fried pork chops. Codalie, Penny, and Bambi brought Uno cards to the kitchen table. We started a game while Mama did her thing. The smell was so sweet and promising, as all of my favorites were cooking at once. Mama never disappointed when it came to birthday dinners. We shot jokes back and forth at the table as the game got good to us. Penny started to cheat as usual. Bambi called her out. He didn't like getting the short end of the stick. Even if you were cheating in a joking manner, he didn't like it. That was just the way he was. Ephra and Math joined the table and we started another hand. Math warned Penny about saving the draw 4 feet. We all laughed as she threw one in ahead of time. Just as the game got good to us, I remember Daddy and Crow walking through the door. Daddy held a brown paper bag close to him. He looked at Mama, and then he looked at me. He called me over to his favorite chair as he sat down. Lee Ann. I was excited to hear his voice. I just knew he had something special for me. I sped out of the kitchen and did a number where I slid on my socks. I looked at Daddy as he smiled. I had almost fell, but I played it smooth when I jolted in place. Daddy handed me a birthday card. He watched me read every word with a smile. The card was already signed. Daddy wrote to me, "Happy birthday, Leanne. Today is just as special as you are. I love you and I wish you many beautiful birthdays. Love, Dad." As soon as I was done, he handed me the brown paper bag. I can only imagine what kind of look I had on my face, only because what was inside wasn't gift wrapped. Inside of that bag was a mini Etch-a-Sketch from the corner store. Also inside was $9, a $5 bill and 4 singles. I hugged him tightly and thanked him. I knew that he did his best. So much responsibility lay on his shoulders. He took a drink of iced cold sweet tea that Mama had just sat down. Crow then walked over to me and slid a yo-yo into my pocket. He winked at me and whispered, "Happy birthday, G-Baby." That's what he called me, but anyway, I could tell by the way that he handed it to me that he had shoplifted it. Crow couldn't help himself. He once had $6 in nickels in his pocket at the store and still managed to steal a 50-cent candy bar. I winked back at him as I admired how much he loved me. He thought of me enough to get me something, no matter how he got it. I liked the yo-yo because it was glow in the dark and it had lights inside. It was fun to look at. We had a nice celebration for my birthday. That night, we sang and danced for a few hours. My Aunt Betty and her kids came over and made it that much better. Her and Mama sat and talked for a bit at the kitchen table. My cousin Ruby had brought me a rat-tailed comb. I liked it a lot, probably because I had never used one and we didn't own any. Well, we did now. I stared in the mirror in Mama's bedroom as I combed my hair a little at a time. It was hurting me using smaller comb teeth for a first time. Ruby noticed me struggling and decided to give me a hand. I watched her as she sectioned parts of my hair and began to do my hair in twists. She popped her bubble gum as she moved her fingers with ease. Ruby was 4 years older than me and had no problem assisting Aunt Betty with her younger sibling's hair, not to mention she was good at it. I admired how she popped her gum. I thought it was cooler than cold watermelon in summer heat. By the time she was finished, I had a new hairdo and a confidence boost. I strutted into the kitchen to show off my hair to Mama and Aunt Betty. Mama noticed instantly as she smiled at me smiling. I walked closer to her, and she had a better look. She admired her niece's work. "You getting really good at this, Ruby Mae," she said. Ruby was pleased that Mama was pleased. Mama then offered to make her a lemon pudding cake to pay her back. It was Ruby's favorite cake, and Mama usually made it for her birthday. While everyone was carrying on a knock had gained our attention. The noise was louder than a normal calm arrival. Whoever was on the other side of that door surely wanted in. Daddy raised eyebrows as he wondered who the hell was pounding the door like that. We were all quiet as he walked steady to the loud banging. The closer he got, the louder it got, and the angrier he began to appear. I watched as he had had enough. He yelled just as he leaned towards the peephole. "Who the hell is it?" There was no response. Daddy was frustrated as he looked through the peephole and pulled the door open really slow. He paused as he stared into the hallway. We were all curious about what he was staring at, as he said nothing. Noise came from the hallway. It sounded muffled or mumbled. Then finally Daddy stepped into the hallway as he yelled, "I'll be damned." In walked a man with a face identical to my daddy's. That was my first time meeting my Uncle Snappy. He was a couple inches taller than my dad and had a full head of hair. His build was medium athletic and muscular. His expression was serious. He looked around the room at everybody. He then reached out to Mama for a hug. She walked over to him with her arms extended. "Oh, Snappy, it's been so long. You're looking good, brother." Uncle Snappy grinned at Mama as he joked. "Yeah, that still didn't stop you from choosing the ugly one." "Go to hell, Snappy," my dad said as he placed his arm around his brother's neck, hugging him closer. Mama laughed. Aunt Betty stared. I didn't know what it was about. It didn't take long for Uncle Snappy to sense her energy as they locked eyes. "Betty," he said. "Good Lord, woman, I ain't seen days as fine as you." "Oh, stop it, Snappy. You're still the same old you." Although I had never met the man, that didn't stop him from knowing exactly who I was. He took one look at me and called me over to him. "Janisha, I'm your Uncle Snappy." He watched as I stared at him awkwardly. At first, I didn't say a word. And then before I knew it, I spoke. "What's up?" He laughed at me. "You about as cool as your mama." Unannounced to me or anyone else, he reached into his pocket and pulled out a wad of cash. There were all kinds of bills, mostly hundreds. Without looking or thinking twice, he peeled me off a crispy $100 bill. My pupils got about the size of nickels. I couldn't believe it. I had never held my own $100 bill, let alone seen one up close and personal. I looked around to see Daddy looking with a half smile. He wasn't jealous, I don't think. It was more like insulted. I watched the look come and go as he seemed to let it go. I unfroze my drifting and thanked Uncle Snappy. "Thank you, Uncle." He accepted my gratitude and then used a head gesture as he nodded towards the door at Daddy. Both of them began to walk to the front door as if it were rehearsed. Daddy opened the door and they walked out one by one. I recall going upstairs to put my birthday money up. While I was in my room, I heard them in the backyard talking. I looked down at them out of the window and noticed they were face to face. As I paid closer attention, I began to hear every word. "When did your black ass get out?" My dad asked. Yesterday, Uncle Snappy answered. And you didn't think to call me? I had something to do. Something to do? Yeah. I'm guessing that got something to do with that money in your pockets. I watched them stare in silence before it was broken. Also now you pass in judgment, Snappy shouted. Daddy looked at him and smirked. Nigga, don't give me that bullshit. You've been gone for 12 years. You've been out for about 24 hours and you show up with thousands of dollars in your pocket. Uncle Snappy grinned. It's good to see you too. He relaxed his shoulders as he continued talking. We both know I didn't come around here to boast. I came to put my brother on. Put me on? Yeah, nigga, that working shit pay bills, but it don't support a family. Did you see the look on Janisha's face? That baby lit up seeing real money. Imagine seeing that same look on all of their faces all of the time. Daddy had gotten irritated fast. Snappy, everything you touch puts you and everyone around you at risk. Snappy looked at him as he snapped back. You damn right, Gene. Every goddamn thing is a risk, but it's the reward that supports families. Supports families? Snappy, you're a 33-year-old man without a wife and kids. So don't tell me shit about family when you ain't got none. Ain't got none? Then what the fuck are you my foe? Daddy looked at Uncle Snappy as those words must have struck a nerve. Look, we're both older now. I gotta be out here to make sure that the ones I love are supported and taken care of. And I damn sure can't afford to get caught up in some bullshit. Uncle Snappy took offense as he looked around. Yeah, well, that don't seem like the only thing that you can't afford. I tried to hide as he looked around, then up towards the window I was spying in. After noticing nothing, he stuck his hand into his pocket and tried handing the entire wad to Daddy. I watched as Daddy looked at the money and then back up at Uncle Snappy. He wouldn't accept the money. Nah, you go right ahead. Ain't shit good gonna come with that money. Uncle Snappy was offended as he stood there trying to help his brother. You know what, Gene? Suit your damn self with this break your back shit to live like a peasant slaving for a system designed to keep a foot on the necks of the people who belong in this bitch. I can't live or die like that. You shouldn't either. Uncle Snappy turned his head back towards the window I was in. I hurried and removed myself. As soon as I heard them talking again, I appeared. This time they had stepped off a few feet. They were facing towards me, so I had to be extra careful. I heard my uncle's voice again, and I listened as his voice traveled. He tried lowering his voice, but I still heard him. I just don't get you. I mean, we used to want things together. Hell, you used to want shit alone. You had all of these big-ass dreams. What happened? I woke up Snappy. Uncle Snappy got closer to my dad as his facial posture was stiff. You're far from woke. He then threw the money on the ground and walked away. I'd never seen my dad look so damn clueless. He didn't know what to do or how to respond. Uncle Snappy had won as he threw the money down and walked off. Daddy just stood there confused. I wanted to go help him pick up all of that money, but I feared he would have known I was snooping. He'd caught us too many times as is. My brother Math stood right behind me as I turned around as was no longer in the window. I wondered had he seen anything. His name wasn't Math for nothing. He knew I was looking at something. He just didn't know what. He looked at the window and then back at me. What are you in here doing, birthday girl? I tried to be cool, but for some reason I think he's seeing straight through it. If something didn't add up to Math, he was sure to try and solve the problem. That's why we called him Math. I looked at him as long as I could before I stopped talking. I was putting my birthday money up, that's all. He stared at me for a split second before he questioned me. What you putting outside or something? You're at the window. I didn't tell him that I was snooping and somehow watched Uncle Snappy throw a lot of cash on the ground like it's more where that came from. No matter what I was going to say, Math had made his mind up that I saw something or was hiding something. I could tell by the look on his face he knew something was up. I tried distracting his attention from the window. It's none of your business now. Get out of my room, you nosy big lip boy. I don't know if it was the insults or just him, but he went straight to the window. I yelled at him with strength in my lungs. Get out, nigga. It was enough volume from my little lungs to draw Crow's attention. He came into my room with his fists balled and ready. Crow didn't play about me. I was his favorite, and he was mine. He looked at Math and instantly got mad. Get out, punk. Math couldn't beat Crow in a fight, but he wasn't going to back down either. His nostrils flared as he scrunched his eyebrows. You a punk. That was all Crow needed to hear. He walked swiftly towards Math with his fist raised. Math wasn't intimidated, but he wasn't done with what I saw. She's hiding something, Crow. I caught her in the window. Now I became defensive. I was putting my birthday money up. She was playing in the window. I caught her. I swear to God, with no forgiveness. That was all Math had to say, and Crow became just as curious. He looked at me as I couldn't mask the guilt. His facial expression changed. Crow walked over to the window and had a peek. He gasped, which caused Math to aid him in spying. I joined them as we all watched Daddy picking up the money that Uncle Snappy tossed. I was caught off guard by Math's response. Dang, Jeannie, you threw all of that down there? I looked at him like he was stupid. Nope. He kept looking out of the window. Then where did all of that money come from? Crow asked. I looked at the both of them as they waited eagerly for a response. I backed away from the window. I didn't want to be seen. Both of them caught the hint as they followed suit. I waited a few more seconds and then I spilled the beans. Uncle threw it on the ground and left. He tried giving that money to Daddy, but Daddy said nope. I'll take it, Math said without thinking. Me too. Crow added, how could you not want no money? I looked out of the window to see Daddy no longer in the backyard. The sound of the music playing and everybody making some kind of noise gained my attention. I looked over to see Crow with his index finger to his lips. Y'all better act like y'all didn't see nothing. Y'all know Daddy don't like snooping. We all knew that to be true. Daddy liked his privacy, and anybody caught spying always got the belt. Except for Kuda Lee. She caught the switch. She was a repeat offender. She was very good at getting caught, which is why I was glad she wasn't in the room. We would have been busted for sure. We all made that deal as we left my room, entered the hallway, and headed back downstairs. Uncle Snappy was gone, and Daddy was walking back into the house with this awkward look on his face. Mama asked where he was, but Daddy brushed it off. Where's Snappy? All of this food. I know he's hungry. I just made him a plate. Daddy looked down as he came up with a lie. Something came up, he had to make a run. Without eating? Aunt Betty asked. Same old Snappy, too busy to sit down and enjoy a home-cooked meal. After all that penitentiary food, you would think he'd be right at this kitchen table. Mama looked at Daddy and could tell something happened. She said nothing as she shook her head a bit. He walked from the kitchen to his bedroom. I followed. I watched as he put that same money in a shoebox with a .357 revolver that I never knew he had until then. I would have gotten rid of that damn gun myself if I knew what it would do later on.